on behalf of Rasmussen College, we would like to welcome you and thank you for being here today. Thank you, Rasmussen faculty and staff, for your support in each of these nursing graduates. Graduates, we are here today to celebrate your achievements and your accomplishments. Today is your day. It's your pinning ceremony, and you are now nurses. The amount of work and dedication it takes to be here does not go unnoticed. Every person in this room is extremely proud of you. The endless nights of studying, every last care plan, every last patho, every assignment, every ATI, and exam has prepared you for the most important goal, which is exceptional patient care. What is interesting about nursing school is that each group of nursing students ends up with characteristics as they progress through the program, defined by students in the class, the hours they spend together, the stress they survive, and by bonds that are created. For example, we've had nursing groups come through that are extremely quiet. We've also had nursing groups come through that are very high-spirited. And I think we would definitely characterize your group as the latter. So your instructors got together and we brainstormed some words to describe your unique group. And this is what we came up with. And yes, it is all good. We think that you are passionate. We think you are diverse, intense, very supportive of each other, have extremely high expectations of the patient care that you provide. You're very inquisitive, and you're never afraid to speak up. Do you all agree? Yeah. Okay. The other day, a student mentioned that she did not know what to do with herself now that school is over. For the last year, you've been told what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. And after some reflection on that comment, the answer may be to turn that focus and energy back to the family and friends that you have put on hold the past year. Take some time for yourself, and finally, when you begin working as a nurse, project those traits that define your class to the patients that you will care for. Be supportive, be diverse, be a passionate nurse, be intense, have high expectations for the patients you care for, never be afraid to ask questions, and never be afraid to speak up on behalf of your patients. These are all signs of a true nurse. Welcome to the healing profession, nurses of Rasmussen September 2014 class. You are all nurses, and we are so very proud of you today. Now we would like to welcome the class speaker, Lori Taylor. Lori is going to speak about what nursing school experiences have been like for this class, and speak about qualities that each of these nursing students have. However, when we asked her to make sure she mentioned something about herself, she said absolutely not. So Lori, here are some words to describe you on behalf of your classmates. You are warm, you're smart, quote, motherly, ambitious, and provide excellent patient care. Thank you for speaking up and never being afraid to ask questions. Please welcome Lori Taylor.
Okay, now she's got me crying. Good afternoon, everyone. We are finally here. Before I begin, I would like to have Mandy, if you would, present the instructors and my fellow classmates with a token of my appreciation for all of your support throughout this journey. I'll just keep going. The pinning ceremony has been a part of nursing school graduation since the 1860s, when Florence Nightingale was awarded with the Red Cross of St. George in recognition of her tireless service caring for the injured during the Crimean War of 1853. Through her efforts, she improved the the unsanitary conditions of the hospital facilities contributing to the reduction in the death count by 2/3 during the war. In turn for her recognition, she began presenting a Medal of Excellence to her brightest nursing graduates. By 1916, the practice of the pinning ceremony became a standard throughout the United States. Thank you, Wikipedia. It is finally okay to use your extensive and easily obtained knowledge once again. I did not forget to cite my source. There are few life-altering experiences that a person will have throughout their lifetime, and collectively we are all experiencing one right now. It is difficult to comprehend how we could possibly be so stressed and anxiety-ridden and even emotional. I mean, we were only going to school, right? Let me put this into perspective for all of you. There are 168 hours in a week, or 7 days. The rule of success we were all presented with during orientation is that for every 1 credit we take, we need to dedicate at least 3 hours to studying per week. So here's an example of what an average week was like for each of us. On average, we all took 16 credits per quarter, which would mean 48 hours per week of expected studying per credit. Attending class at school was roughly 6 hours per week. Our weekly coursework on average was calculated at a minimum of 48 hours per week. Now we add on clinical site work, which at times we would often have 2 8-hour days of clinical per week, with an average of 11 hours per week. In addition, we cannot forget the clinical paperwork to be completed for each clinical, which we roughly spent 12 hours per week completing. Finally, on average, most of us spend an additional 4 hours per week studying for exams, practicing skill checkoffs, working on ATIs, or perhaps remediation. To get to the point, each of us started the week with 168 hours of precious time, and believe me, every minute counted. We then deduct 127 hours for the work we knew we needed to complete. This leaves each of us with roughly 41 hours per week remaining, or roughly 6 to 8 hours per day to utilize sleeping, working, eating, caring for our families, bathing, I won't go there, or studying some more. I feel it is also important to bring to attention the fact that this program, the best in my opinion, is on a quarter system. What does this mean? We completed this program on an accelerated basis, with each quarter being 11 weeks. Most programs are on a semester system, which is approximately 14 to 16 weeks. This means we have done the same work as required by the Board of Nursing 6 weeks sooner than the norm. We are all sitting here today because of our dedication to this profession and the discipline, organization, and heart we put into this every single day. Nursing school changes a person. From this moment on, we are not just merely citizens, but rather a special breed of superheroes called nurses. People will seek our opinion and advice, refer to our knowledge for answers, look to our actions for guidance, and most of all, trust our expertise with their lives. We know we did not get to this moment alone. We would like to thank each and every one of you here today, and those that couldn't be here today, for supporting and standing beside us, for letting us cry our eyes out, for understanding our absence at family dinners or social events, for excusing us when we may have not answered the phone or returned your phone calls for days because we were barricaded in a room studying or doing homework. Without your sacrifice, support, and encouragement this past year, we may not be standing in this room today. From the bottom of our hearts, we sincerely thank you. 1 year ago, Mandy, for you, it was 1.5 years ago, we all received a letter in the mail that welcomed us into this program. Oddly, nothing was said in that letter about the sadistic sleep deprivation study that was about to be performed on all of us. We were also excited, ambitious, and ready to soak in every word the instructors had to say. Then they started talking. Were they speaking English? Or were they trying to make us break down and run as far away as possible? Nursing school is not for the weak, and they let us know this honestly and upfront from the beginning. Some of us may have forgotten that along the way due to sleep deprivation. We collectively started our journey with 40 comrades, and as you can all see, there are 11 of us graduating. I think I can speak for nearly everyone in my class that at one point or another either did or thought really hard about having a nervous breakdown. After taking psychosocial nursing, I think we all diagnosed ourselves with at least one personality disorder as well. And don't worry, we've diagnosed all of you too. When I reflect back on the last year, to explain the intensity we have defeated, I can only compare this nursing program to either the TV show Survivor, with its tagline of outwit, outplay, outlast, or to the movie Stripes from 1981 with Bill Murray, or Private Benjamin from 1980 with Goldie Hawn. And yes, by referencing these 80s movies, I am acknowledging that I have lived a few more years than the average student in this class. Right, Alyssa? Anyway, in both movies, the lead characters join the Army with the thoughts of a vacation-type setting, with condos and beaches that have been placed in their minds by their recruiter. Where's Aaron? You got us. I will call quarter one the calm before the storm. Teresa, you brought us all together with the simplicity of showing all of us the goose video, which impressed upon all of us that the reason geese fly in a V is so that nobody is left behind. That simple yet impactful video has been a motto we have all followed to this very moment, and that we have also reminded ourselves of throughout this program by graciously honking at each other in our times of need. We thank you for being the initial glue that bound us all together. Chantel, Mama Goose, your kind nature and empathetic response of saying, I know, impacted all of us more than you could imagine, and just those words have remained at the forefront of our minds when we may have felt weak. Thank you so much for your listening ear, your kind heart, and your high patience tolerance. You have always went over and above to make sure that we were all okay, listened to us cry, and celebrated our achievements by pointing them out to us when we may not have acknowledged them ourselves. We love you and your concept bubble teaching style. Greg. Here's Greg. Greg, your quick wit, hilarious stories, and your sense of humor could not help but make all of us all relax. If only it was just for a few hours. We have learned more about the true existence of multiple hidden body cavities than we could have ever imagined existed. And also, we've learned the importance of the word sphincter. Thank you so much for recognizing our stress and adding the much needed laughter into our lives, if only for a few hours. You are a remarkable person, and we are very appreciative. I will call quarter two, welcome to boot camp. Stacy. Your voice that reminded us promptly at 6 a.m. to assess our patients' needs by saying, get in there and get to work, served as our internal alarm clock throughout this program. You are aware that there is a new pita chip on the market, and I believe that it was especially named for you. They're called Stacy's Pita Chips, and the tagline is, it's the harder way, it's the better way, and that's the Stacy way, and we're not messing with it. The respect we have for you is hard to put into words. You literally prepared us for battle. Your higher than average expectations and the diligent pushing force that you imposed on all of us has significant impact on where we are today. You pushed as hard as you possibly could have to bring out the best in all of us. and you lived through us pushing back. Thank you so much for having faith in us when we may have not had faith in ourselves at times. You are an incredible human being, and you went over and above to reaffirm our knowledge and the capabilities we all possessed. You are an incredible role model for what it really means to be a nurse. You mean the world to all of us, and we love you. I will call quarter 3 a little, very little R&R. Sally. Your kind and soft-spoken exterior was a camouflage for your high expectations and tough interior. You got us. After enduring Stacy for 11 weeks, walking into your classroom the first day was like a breath of fresh air, until we took our first exam. The whispers could be heard as if they were being played on a loudspeaker. What? No looking back on our test to change the answers? What we did not realize at that moment is that you were preparing us for the final test, or battle. The battle of our abilities, the boards. I will never forget you saying, "You can't go back on the exam when you take your boards, you need to get used to it now." You were absolutely right, although in that moment you were not. Your stories and experiences provided so much additional knowledge to our learning. Playing Jeopardy to review for an exam relieved the pressure and allowed us all to have a little fun. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experiences with us. You are an incredible instructor and nurse. Finally, I will call quarter 4 fire in the hole. Ellen, oh Ellen, where do I begin? Your appearance, as we have all concluded, is that of a China doll, and a doll you are. Between teaching us in theory and guiding us through clinical, you, Miss Ellen, provided the exclamation point to our confidence. As many of us have discussed, you made us feel like real nurses, and working beside you, changing wound dressings or inserting catheters, was like working next to your best friend. We never second-guessed ourselves while standing beside you. We took away the doubt we may have had in ourselves in caring for human lives, and you treated us all as nurses, not students. Again, words cannot even begin to describe your contribution to our success. Thank you so much for caring and giving all of us that additional boost of confidence, and for making us realize that we are nurses. You are what we hope to be. Brittany, what an honor we have experienced working with a nurse practitioner at clinical. Although it intimidated all of us and raised our stress level for one hot minute, you added so much additional knowledge to our learning by sharing your knowledge with us. Again, you treated us like nurses, not students, and had faith in our abilities. There was no hand-holding, you expected the best, and we gave you our best. We will all always look at drugs in a completely different way as we care for our patients. We will also remember that while coming across the various varieties of IV pumps, it may be important to perhaps look for or read the instructions on the side of the pump if difficulties in operation present themselves. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and pushing us further in utilizing our critical thinking abilities. You have had a tremendous impact on all of us, and we are grateful and lucky to have had you touch our lives. Kayla, from you we have learned that in the midst of chaos and stress, profanity is not an acceptable second language. Thank you for contributing to our arsenal of knowledge in psychosocial nursing and family nursing. You are an incredible person and a great nurse that we have had the opportunity to look up to, and we thank you very much. So we can all take vital signs, perform head-to-toe assessments, change wound dressings, perform CPR, calculate and give medications, start IVs, give injections, place tubes into orifices that can come and go from anywhere or everywhere. Oh, and of course, speak to you all therapeutically. So here we are at this moment together in the same room for what could possibly be the last time for most of us here. We have all been so structured and disciplined, as Ellen had said in her speech. And we've all been operating at 500 miles per hour for what seems to be for so long. And I think I can accurately and honestly say that every one of us is feeling lost, awkward, and confused as to what we are going to do with ourselves on Monday morning. Mandy, we are all in admiration of your diligent persistence in everything you do. I'm not going to look at you. You are resilient, and nothing has ever stopped you or stood in your way of keeping your eye on the prize. Thank you for your positivity, for caring for all of us, and for being a tremendous support system, and also for providing us with the humor and laughter, which we cannot discuss due to HIPAA, that you have brought into all of our lives. You have entertained us all with what I will call your Mandy Hegman 2nd edition medical terminology enunciator language lessons. And just for the record, it's pronounced angina, not angina. Emily, you are the true definition of dedication. You travel rain, snow, sleet, or hail from Jamestown to Fargo every day, sometimes only to have to turn around in less than 8 hours and drive back the next day. Wow, how inspiring. Your mothering nature, the compassion you showed for the patients you cared for, and your professionalism did not go unnoticed by any of us. You have been a true role model for every one of us. Going forward, our wish for you is that you find comfort in wearing your scrubs. And if you don't, we hope you avoid any tickets for indecent exposure as you are changing out of them in your car. Jen, you have always been a listening ear, whether it be to your patients or your classmates, and have been very compassionate when dealing with each individual situation or conversation. Your confidence is infectious, even though you may not have seen it yourself. It has not gone unnoticed by any of us. Thank you for always being there for all of us. Your kind and caring nature has been so very appreciated. Going forward, we all still expect to get free massages, or at least given at a 90% discounted rate. Katie, your work ethic and commitment to your outrageous, nearly full-time jobs, coupled by fulfilling the expectations the school presented, represents success. There is not one of us that are not in total admiration of your endurance in juggling the program and your long work hours. You are an example of the same. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Going forward, we wish you to be wrinkle-free forever. And no, Katie, you don't have any wrinkles showing. Brittany, whether you realized it or not, you have been a role model for every one of us. From the day we began having clinical at Eventide, you were always the one we hoped to be paired with. Your calm nature and the way you are able to make connections with your patients has been inspiring to all of us. Going forward, and given your calm nature in every situation, we want you to know that in an emergency situation, it is perfectly okay to have an increase in your heart rate over 80. Boom. Your ability to provide all of us positivity through your sense of humor has literally been therapeutic for each one of us. You are such a kind and compassionate soul, and you have touched all of our lives deeply. Your drive, enthusiasm, and kindness have influenced us all. Going forward, now that you have your very own laptop, which is free of any complications, please be careful not to allow any pathogens access in attacking it because this could compromise the mental health and well-being of all of your classmates. And Beth, stop crying. Anna, your tough exterior turns to mush when you are caring for your patients. You have demonstrated such a high quality of care that has not gone unnoticed by any of us. In fact, it has inspired us. You are very kind and caring, and it is appreciated by each one of us that you have encouraged us to come together as a group outside of school to celebrate our accomplishments. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Going forward, we hope your phobia of tornadoes will diminish and allow you to not experience further dysrhythmias. Alyssa, I do not think anyone in our class would have expected you to be so young. You have demonstrated a level of maturity, compassion, and intelligence beyond your years. You have always been there for each of us, provided encouragement, and been the first to make sure we are all okay with whatever may have been troubling us. We thank you for all that you have contributed to our lives and for setting such a high example of what the word caring actually means. Going forward, in return for all of your kindness, each one of us would be more than happy to provide a one-day additional educational seminar on motor vehicle operation. Topics to be included would be the negative impacts to running over roadkill, how to prevent ending up in snowbanks, and the correct way to move the keys out of the ignition before locking the doors. And Alyssa, there will be a test out after the lesson. Danielle, your dedication to taking care of all of us on a daily basis by being first to the library in the morning to make sure any materials we needed were printed before class, gathering any pertinent information we were not privy to, and not being afraid to speak up on behalf of all of us did not go unnoticed. You have been very dedicated to the program and to your classmates, and also ahead of the game, not only for yourself, but also for each one of us. And we want you to know that we appreciate every bit of it and sincerely thank you for everything you have done to make our lives easier throughout this program. Going forward, when you release your first book entitled How to Use Profanity and Really Mean It, and it comes out on store shelves, we expect to receive an autographed copy. And of course, saving the best for last, Brian, God bless you. Whether you realize it or not, you have provided a stable balance within our class. Your chill approach has calmed many nerves amongst us. You also possess the true unique gift of making patient connections, which has inspired all of us. We have all learned so much from you and appreciate all of your patience that I'm sure at times it was hard to find. Thank you for putting up with the 10 of us girls. Thank you, Brian, for being you and hanging in there with us. In addition, we would like to take this time to apologize to Brian's girlfriend. I'm not sure where she is, Brian. Okay? Although we may have developed skills and patience in dealing with women, if there is any type of delay in marriage or having children, we will take full blame. In closing, I leave you all with my personal wish for each of you. My wish as you all go forward in your careers is that not only the big and little things that you may have dreamt up for a long time, but also new dreams find their way to your hearts. I wish you all countless happy moments and the feeling of accomplishment in all that you do. I hope the world treats you well with kindness and appreciation for all of the things that make you each great people. I hope you all find